It was the kind of night that screamed American dream, fireworks exploding over the Hudson River on the 4th of July, the air thick with the smell of hot dogs and freedom. I stood on the rooftop of our Brooklyn apartment building, champagne flute in hand, toasting to the future with my best friend Sarah. We were inseparable, two small-town girls from Ohio who had clawed our way to the Big Apple, chasing stardom in the cutthroat world of influencer marketing. At 24, I was Emily Harper, the bubbly content creator with a modest 50K followers on Instagram, specializing in lifestyle hacks and feel-good vibes. Sarah? She was my shadow, my hype woman, the one who filmed my videos and whispered ideas in my ear. But as the fireworks faded, so did the illusion. Little did I know, that very night, Sarah was already plotting to steal everything I'd built, my brand, my boyfriend, my life. And when the betrayal hit, it wasn't just a stab in the back, it was a chainsaw through my soul. What followed was a revenge so meticulously crafted, so utterly devastating, that it didn't just ruin her, it erased her from the map forever. Let me take you back to where it all began, because every great tragedy has roots in the mundane. Sarah and I met in high school in Dayton, Ohio, that quintessential Midwest town where Friday nights meant football games under floodlights and dreams of escaping to somewhere with skyscrapers. I was the awkward girl with braces and a knack for storytelling. Sarah was the outgoing cheerleader type, always one step ahead in popularity. We bonded over shared secrets in the girls' bathroom, vowing to conquer the world together. After graduation, we packed our beat-up Honda Civic and drove cross-country to New York City, fueled by gas station coffee and playlists of Taylor Swift anthems. We shared a tiny studio in Bushwick, scraping by on ramen and freelance gigs. I started my Instagram account at Emily Everyday Adventures, posting about budget fashion finds and NYC hidden gems. Sarah was right there, editing my photos, suggesting captions like, "Living my best life in the city that never sleeps." Sparkling heart #NYC dreams. As my follower count grew, so did our ambitions. By 2023, I'd hit 10K, then 20K, landing small sponsorships from brands like Target and Sephora. Sarah worked as my unofficial manager, handling emails and negotiations. We were a team, or so I thought. But cracks started showing. She'd make snide comments about my outfits, saying things like, "That dress is cute, but it'd look better on someone with my curves." I'd laugh it off, attributing it to her insecurities. Then there was Jake, my boyfriend of 2 years. He was a graphic designer from Queens, sweet and supportive, always showing up with takeout from our favorite Thai spot. Sarah flirted with him shamelessly, but I dismissed it as her playful personality. She's just being Sarah, I'd tell myself. The first hint of betrayal came during Fashion Week in September 2024. I'd scored an invite to a major influencer's afterparty at a swanky Soho loft, thanks to a collab with a rising makeup brand. Sarah begged to come along, and I obliged. We were sisters, right? That night, amid the flashing lights and celebrity sightings, I excused myself to the bathroom. When I returned, Sarah was gone. So was my phone, left charging on a side table. I panicked, borrowing a stranger's device to track it via Find My iPhone. It led me to a quiet corner booth where Sarah sat with a group of industry bigwigs, scrolling through my contacts, pitching my ideas as her own. "Emily's great, but I've got the real vision," I overheard her say. My heart sank, but I confronted her later, and she played it off as networking for us. Foolishly, I believed her. Things escalated from there. Over the next few months, my content started flopping. Videos I'd pour hours into got buried in the algorithm, while Sarah's new side account, at Sarah Spotlight, exploded overnight. She was posting eerily similar content, my signature day in the life reels, but with her face instead. Followers migrated to her, commenting things like, "You're the upgraded version." I confided in Jake about my suspicions, but he brushed it off. "You're paranoid, babe. Sarah's just inspired by you." Then came the bombshell. One rainy October evening, I came home early from a shoot to find them, Sarah and Jake, tangled in my bed, the sheets I'd bought from IKEA twisted around their betrayal. The room smelled of her vanilla perfume mixed with his cologne. I stood frozen in the doorway, rain dripping from my coat, as they scrambled for excuses. "It's not what it looks like," Jake stammered. Sarah smirked. You were always too naive for this city." The pain was visceral, like a punch to the gut from a heavyweight champ. I kicked them out, changed the locks, and spent nights curled on the floor, sobbing into a bottle of cheap Merlot from Trader Joe's. My followers noticed my hiatus, DMs flooded in with concern. But inside, something shifted. The sweet Ohio girl died that night, replaced by a woman forged in the fires of New York's ruthless ambition. Revenge wasn't just an idea, it was a necessity. I wouldn't slash tires or key cars like in some trashy rom-com. No, my plan would be surgical, digital, and irreversible. I'd use the very tools that built my world to dismantle hers. Phase 1. Reconnaissance. I created anonymous accounts on every platform: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X as they call it now, even LinkedIn. I followed Sarah's every move, screenshotting her posts, noting her sponsors. She was thriving, hitting 100K followers in weeks, thanks to stolen ideas and Jake's graphic designs. They moved in together in a trendy Williamsburg loft, posting couple goals pics that made my blood boil. I dug deeper, using public records apps to uncover her past. Turns out, Sarah had a skeleton in her closet. Back in Ohio, she'd been expelled from college for plagiarizing a thesis. It was buried but not deep enough. I also discovered Jake's side hustle, freelancing for shady crypto scams, something he kept hidden even from me. While plotting, I rebuilt myself. I rebranded at Emily Everyday Adventures to at Emily Empowered, focusing on empowerment stories for young women betrayed in friendships and love. My authenticity resonated. Followers poured back in, surpassing my old numbers. Brands noticed. I landed deals with Dove and Bumble, preaching self-love. But privately, I was a storm brewing. I hired a freelance hacker from a dark web forum, ethically, of course, or so I told myself. But wait, no, that's too risky. Instead, I used my tech-savvy cousin in Silicon Valley, who taught me basic coding over Zoom. We set up bots to monitor Sarah's online activity, flagging inconsistencies. The suspense built like a thriller novel. Every day, I'd wake up to new intel: Sarah pitching to my old sponsors, Jake editing her videos with my unreleased footage they'd stolen from my cloud drive. I waited for the perfect moment, gathering evidence like a detective in a Law and Order episode. Then, in January 2025, opportunity struck. Sarah announced a massive collab with a luxury brand, L'Oreal, for a Betrayal to Beauty camp. Ironic, right? It was set to launch at a gala in Manhattan's meatpacking district. I RSVP'd anonymously, blending into the crowd with a new haircut and contacts. Phase 2, the takedown. The night of the gala, the room buzzed with influencers sipping cocktails under crystal chandeliers. Sarah stood on stage, radiant in a red gown, unveiling her campaign. "From small-town nobody to NYC icon," she boasted, as slides flashed my stolen concepts. That's when I struck. From a burner phone, I triggered a pre-programmed script. It hacked into the venue's Wi-Fi, thanks to my cousin's tutorial on ethical penetration testing, wink, projecting a slideshow of evidence onto the massive screens, side-by-side comparisons of our content, timestamps proving theft, emails from her college expulsion, even screenshots of her affair with Jake, timestamped before our breakup. The crowd gasped as the final slide revealed Jake's crypto scams, linking Sarah as his business partner. Chaos erupted. Sponsors pulled out mid-event. L'Oreal reps stormed off. Sarah's face drained of color, her microphone dropping with a thud. Jake tried to flee, but security detained him after anonymous tips to the FTC about his fraud. I slipped out unnoticed, heart pounding like a drum in a rock concert. But that was just the appetizer. Back home, I unleashed Phase 3, viral exposure. Under my Empowered brand, I posted a tell-all video. The truth about Betrayal, my story. It detailed everything with redacted evidence to avoid lawsuits, framed as a cautionary tale. It exploded, 10 million views in 24 hours, trending on TikTok with hashtag #BetrayedByBestie. Celebrities like Ariana Grande reposted, calling it empowering AF. Sarah's empire crumbled overnight. Her accounts were shadow banned, followers unfollowed in droves, leaving hate comments like, "thief," and "karma's a bitch." Brands sued for breach of contract. Her Williamsburg lease was cancelled when the landlords saw the drama. Jake faced federal charges for his scams, dragging her in as a witness. Last I heard, she fled back to Ohio, working at a diner, her dreams as shattered as my trust once was. But the real twist? In the midst of the fallout, I discovered something mind-blowing. Sarah wasn't just a betrayer, she was my half-sister. A DNA test from 23andMe, prompted by a hunch from old family photos, confirmed it. Our moms had a fling with the same guy back in the day. She knew all along, using it to fuel her jealousy. As I sit here now, in my new penthouse overlooking Central Park, sipping coffee from a mug that says, "Boss Babe," I reflect on the ruins I left behind. Revenge isn't sweet, it's a double-edged sword that cuts deep. But in America's land of second chances, I rose from the ashes, stronger, wiser. Sarah? She's a cautionary tale, forever ruined, a ghost in the machine of social media. And if you're reading this, dear friend, remember, betrayal might break you, but revenge? It rebuilds you into something unbreakable. The end? Or just the beginning of my empire?